In a series of sharp, short-range engagements over recent days, Ukrainian frontline defenders say a small number of highly skilled snipers have repeatedly disrupted Russian motorcycle reconnaissance and raiding parties, forcing changes to enemy tactics and underscoring the tactical value of precision fires in modern mobile warfare. Eyewitnesses and local unit spokespeople describe the pattern. Small motorcycle groups used for rapid reconnaissance, flank probing, and courier duties ride ahead of heavier forces along secondary roads and forest tracks. In several cases, they were engaged by concealed marksmen positioned to cover likely approach routes. The result, according to Ukrainian sources, has been the neutralization of those advance elements, delays to enemy movement, and a measurable increase in caution among Russian patrols. Motorcycles and small motorcycle squads are attractive to commanders who need speed, low logistical footprint, and the ability to move through terrain unsuitable for vehicles. They excel at scouting, delivering messages, and exploiting gaps in lines. But those same strengths create predictable patterns. Riders typically travel along limited routes, in small formations, and with limited armor or suppression. That predictability, combined with the confined fields of movement on rural roads and forest tracks, gives hidden defenders, especially trained snipers, opportunities to observe, engage, and withdraw before the enemy can effectively respond. In the Dnipropetrovsk region have begun to blunt a slow Russian push eastward, forcing Moscow to reconsider its strategic approach as two pivotal battles determine whether recent Russian gains can translate into an operational breakthrough or Ukrainian forces can establish a defensive shield across the oblast. Here, Ukrainian counterattacks have begun to blunt a slow Russian push and are now forcing a rethink of Moscow's east-to-west axis. The fighting is concentrated around two core battles that together will decide whether Russian gains translate into an operational breakthrough, or Ukrainians can form a shield defending the open fields of a new oblast. The main Russian goal in this sector is to secure ground inside the Dnipropetrovsk region that can be used as bargaining leverage in any future negotiations, and if possible, to press westward towards Zaporizhzhia city from the east. Securing villages and staging areas across the administrative border would let Russian leadership claim forward momentum and create lines on the map that could be traded politically, while also opening avenues for follow-on mechanized advances if Ukrainian lines collapse. Notably, Ukrainian defense belts in the Zaporizhzhia and Dnipropetrovsk regions are primarily oriented to resist assaults coming from the south and the southwest. Therefore, pushing from the east allows Russian units to attempt to outflank prepared positions and exploit seams in local defenses. However, Russian forces only advanced roughly 6 kilometers locally in 1 month. While this is faster than in all other sectors, it is still far short of operational maneuver speed, as two battles now define the immediate fighting. In the north, Zelenyi High has been a grinding fight for months, as Russian forces repeatedly attack into the village to establish a foothold that would serve as a launch pad for further assaults. Primarily, Russian forces seek to use the settlement to move into the three larger settlements of Havrlivka, Ivanivka, and Novopavlivka, whose dispersed buildings are a prime target for Russian infiltrators to accumulate in. Still, Ukrainian defenders have turned every attempt into a costly affair. Geolocated footage shows Ukrainian assault and mechanized companies conducting repeated clearing operations through the surrounding woodlands and hedgerows, using short, violent counter-assault combined with persistent drone reconnaissance to detect enemy soldiers and small infiltration teams before they consolidate. Footage from Ukrainian assault units shows cleared enemy positions on the northern outskirts and localized follow-up strikes on withdrawing groups, as Ukrainians maintain a cycle in which Russian probes are exposed, engaged, and destroyed, preventing them from securing a foothold. To the south, where Russian forces had started advancing rapidly through a series of tree lines, Ukrainian counterattacks have recaptured Sosnivka, Voronezh, and several nearby hamlets. These counterattacks were preceded by an intense coordinated artillery barrage, suppressing and eliminating Russian infantry moving unprotected in the open. Then mechanized thrusts, led by the 23rd Mechanized Brigade, together with elements of several assault battalions, went on to isolate enemy vanguards and cleared the path for follow-up assaults. Lastly, Ukrainian infantry began a clearing operation to consolidate the newly gained terrain and prevent assaults from behind. Unit footage from the 23rd Mechanized Brigade shows several villages being cleared and Ukrainian flags raised as control is reasserted with minimal losses. As a result, Russian efforts in the sector have been blunted, and Russian forces have retreated from the surrounding areas to rethink their approach. Overall, Ukrainian counterattacks in the Velika-Novosilka axis have so far done what they were designed to do: blunt forward momentum, recapture key villages, and prevent Russian staging zones from becoming secure bases of operations. However, these operations go much further than tactical displays of an active defense, as it has bought Ukrainians, drone units in particular, the necessary time to set up and start conducting operations. After months of stagnation and failures at Pokrovsk and Kostiantynivka, Russia's generals have chosen to reorient their main push to Liman, where they hope to soon reach terrain that could favor mechanized warfare. Their operational goal is to reach and capture Liman, and then use it as a springboard for a wider operation to outflank Kramatorsk and Sloviansk from the north. According to Ukrainian analysts, nearly 90,000 Russian troops, backed by over 300 tanks, 600 armored vehicles, and hundreds of artillery systems, have massed close to the Lyman axis. Yet, many of these units are formed from prison recruits and freshly mobilized soldiers with little to no training, highlighting Russia's desperation to sustain offensive momentum despite the heavily depleted quality of their manpower. To seize Lyman, Russia is orchestrating a multi-pronged offensive designed to envelop Ukrainian positions from several directions at once. The attacks northwest of Lyman, near Shandry Holov, northeast through Kolodiazy, east through Zarichny, and southeast near Yampol and the Sviaty Hori forest are not random probes, but a coordinated operational design. In the north, Russia's bridgehead across the Zarabets River is key, as Russian engineers are rushing to build pontoon bridges to bring armor across. If the Russians can reinforce this bridgehead, they can outflank Lyman from the northwest and cut off supplies moving from Izium. Through Kolodiazi, the Russians can achieve a potential direct vector of assault on the town itself if they successfully penetrate the Ukrainian defense.